All right, Jermaine. I'm gonna start with this thing I just sent you here, all right? Quotes from Thomas Tuchel
Oh
speaking
yes,
to Sky about England's World Cup exit.
yeah.
Ball possession is maybe not in our English DNA like it is in the Spanish or Argentinian, Brazilian DNA. No
Okay.
structure in the world could have helped us. We just struggled. I'm 100% committed. There's still enough time to improve. I still think we can win a major tournament. The nerve of this guy. The absolute nerve of this guy.
Ah,
Are you joking? Oh my gosh. Oh my. I cannot believe this. He's trying to
oh,
gaslight everyone.
yeah. That's the word. I think it's gaslighting. I think it's definitely gaslighting. I mean, I think there's a section of people who had belief in him anyway. Like there's quite a few
Yeah.
people that thought that he was the guy to lead us all the way.
Yeah. And I see a
Uh,
few of them like desperately trying to cling on to any excuse they can try and find for him.
yeah,
But the
yeah,
truth is, everyone can see it with their eyes. Like there is no excuse. Everyone could see it in real time happening. That's
yeah,
what makes this one so bad. It's like
yeah,
I was watching it somewhere with loads of England fans around, right? It's
yeah,
like hundreds of people there, and it's like as it was happening, everyone's looking around at each other like, wait, like this this is the plan. This is it. This is wait. At the beginning, I felt like people were cheering when Dan Burn came on, "Ooh, Dan Burn" and all that. So, I get it, the
yeah,
Mexico game.
yeah,
Yeah, cool. But when you actually start to think about what's happening in front of you, he's just giving them the ball. He's just giving Messi
yeah,
the ball.
yeah. I think
um,
I look. I think with Thomas Tuchel, I was before the tournament. I mean, a while before the tournament, I was looking at him as a bit of an agent, and
yeah.
I think with the way he's talking and the way he's gaslighting is, I think there's more and more of a chance that he's an agent because the way he's talking, based on his managerial performance, he hasn't got any kind of. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's accountable in terms of he made the decision, but
Mm-hmm.
he says he has no regrets, which means that he'd do the same thing again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a threat. That's what that is.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, if the
Uh,
FA don't look at it like that, they don't
yeah.
look at they don't listen to what he's saying seriously and take it and actually take it in,
Mhm.
then we're gonna have the same exact thing happen during the Euros.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know what? If you looked at it from a different perspective and you thought, what would an agent do in this situation? You go
Mm-hmm.
1-0 up against
Yep.
Argentina, team with
Yep.
no pace really,
Yeah.
very reliant on Messi just like dribbling past people, and he's been feeding off scraps in
Yep.
this first 60 minutes.
And he's 39.
He's 39 years old, right?
Yep.
After playing 120 minutes multiple times in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
And you go, all right, what would I do now to give them the best chance possible in a sly way? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take away any hopes of England getting up the pitch or holding on to the ball for more than a couple of seconds. That's what
Yep.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring in every player that allows Argentina to hold on to the ball, comfortably in and around the area. And then I'm just gonna let it slide. And then in the 95th minute, once you've conceded the 2 goals, I'm gonna then make it seem like I want to go for it and bring on a couple of attacking players.
Uh,
That's what I'm gonna do.
it's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. I mean, I didn't watch it with the crowd. I was watching it by myself.
Mm,
Um, well, I was at home watching it on the TV,
mhm.
and it was interesting because when I saw Gordon come off for Kwanzaa, I was like, hey, this is
Yeah.
this is
That was the first change, right? That was the
yeah,
first
that
sub.
was the first stage. I was like, what? And then no, but first I saw the sub, and
Mm.
then I looked at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was like, wait, this is not. Surely there's something going on. Like,
Exactly.
Is he injured? What's going What's going
Exactly.
on?
But if he's injured,
Yeah,
then that
yeah,
doesn't make sense because
yeah. It's
why
still
is
it's
constant?
still
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, yeah,
yeah.
the same thing
So
was happening in my head.
yeah, I wasn't mad, but I was just looking at the situation like this. This doesn't really make any sense. Like, what's like? I don't understand what's going on. But yeah, then I saw the others, and then as soon as he was starting to make these, I saw Scaloni preparing the attackers to come onto the pitch, and I was like, "Ah,
Yeah.
this is going to be a long 25 minutes."
Yeah.
That was almost that's about 1/5 of the whole game that he said, "Yeah, we're going to sit back and
Yeah.
allow these guys to attack." Oh, anyway, yeah, that was a bad. Look, for me, that's probably the worst moment of his career.
Mhm.
And I don't think he understands. Oh, maybe he does understand, but he'll never let it show
Yeah,
how.
he
Yeah,
seemed like a very prideful guy. That
yeah.
yeah, he's never gonna admit it. He's never gonna
And
admit.
to all the people that thought he was who see him as an elite manager, I'm sorry, but here's your. This is like if you need any more evidence to suggest that he's not, he's just another guy. This is your evidence. This
That's
is
it.
it.
That's it. He's been living off that Champions League win this whole time,
I
and
promise you, that Champions League. If I was the manager for that Champions League, I would have won that Champions League. I'm pretty confident.
yeah.
I'm
Listen,
pretty confident.
what happened was right. All right. We could go through the whole route, but essentially he beat Real Madrid. I think in like the quarters, they
Yeah,
had a weak team, they had players out there. It wasn't the best
yeah,
time for them. He gets
yeah,
to the final, and Pep Guardiola, you know, that was the 60th game of the season.
yeah,
59 games prior in all competitions, he plays one of Rodri or Fernandinho,
yeah.
and then for some reason decides in the Champions League final to leave out Rodri and Fernandinho. And I remember at the time, people were kind of looking at it like it's not that big a deal because people didn't yet understand how good a player Rodri was.
Oh,
In
okay.
2021, if you remember, I remember saying a lot of the time that if Rodri was out of this team, they would not be the same team because this Fernandinho was
Yeah,
coming to the end, but Rodri was like
yeah,
start of the peak of his powers that he's been at in recent years.
yeah,
And people didn't understand it until Rodri got injured, like a couple years ago, and City had that terrible season. So Tuchel won because Pep had his moment of madness, right? And he's living off that. Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League with Chelsea,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where's his England job?
That's the same excuse. That's not excuse. That's the same example I always use
Yeah.
when people talk about, oh yeah, Tuchel's one of the top managers because he won Champions League. I'm like, bro,
Mhm.
like, nah,
Yeah.
that's not how it works. And
Yeah.
anyway, you go.
Because if you look at everything else in his career, apart from that Champions League, there is
Yeah,
nothing you can point to that shows him like improving a team or taking a team past where you think it should be based on its players,
yeah,
which is basically what proves you're a good manager.
yeah.
Nothing else shows you're a good manager. The fact you won a trophy or you won the league with PSG does not prove you're a good manager. It
No,
would be harder to not win it in some of those seasons, in France. He finished third in the Bundesliga with Bayern with Harry Kane. Like third. This is a
that
modern
is,
Bundesliga. This is he there hasn't been any league campaign in his entire career where he's done better than he should have with his resources. And that is
yeah,
me personally, that's the only way I judge managers.
yeah,
Manchester United have made a lot of mistakes over the years because they judge in the wrong ways as well. They think a CV is what's important, as in what trophies are there. That's
mm,
completely meaningless. And if anyone serious at the high level of a football club, football association is thinking like that, then you're in the wrong job because you
yeah,
don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to actually analyze success as a manager,
yeah,
right? So yeah. Anyway, we haven't even like really delved into the game or delved into Argentina at all.
yeah.
But man, I mean, Argentina into the final. What did you actually think of Argentina in the game yesterday?
Uh, honestly, I wasn't super impressed. I was. Thank you very much. I was very like okay. So my impression of the game. I'll just talk about how I broke down the game. I think initially Argentina were on this, this aggression, crashing into guys, stepping on people's feet, and that. And I think after a period, I think they realized, okay, these English guys are not really reacting the way we want them to react. So, and also the English team is bigger and stronger than the Argentinian team. So I feel like they kind of gave up on that tactic
Yeah. Do you think
At
they were
some
trying
point
to
during the
get
game.
them to like get the
Yeah,
books,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
stuff like
I
that,
think
right?
they wanted to G up the England players so that to make it that kind of encounter, but the
Mm.
England players weren't really going for it. So I think that in that sense, I think that was a victory for the English players, because at some point Argentinian players said, "Okay, do you know what? We can't really like this is not going to work." So the only weapon they had left was to play football, and it's interesting because they were playing and Messi would get the ball, and like you say, he wasn't getting the ball in the best areas, but the players were handling him very well. Elliot Anderson, anytime Messi would get the ball, Elliot Anderson was there. A lot of the
Yeah.
time, he just take the ball off him and start a counter attack.
Yeah.
And
He was doing
I was
he was doing really well. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that. I was really impressed with the way that the midfield dealt with Messi. Um, yeah, Argentina, they were playing narrow, and they knew it wasn't working. So that's when they brought on Nico Gonzalez for Paredes. That's when was that the first sub?
Yes, that was their first sub. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that was the first sub when
Mhm.
they brought on Nico Gonzalez for
Yeah.
Paredes, because they realized, okay, we actually need some width here.
Or
They were
maybe the
struggling.
pool for Simeone. I don't know which was first actually, but yeah.
No, I think the Nico Gonzalez one was the
Okay.
first
Yeah.
sub.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he came on and it changed. It kind of put a bit more pressure because England had to defend more on the width. So that was interesting, but it left space because the Gonzalez, like, it left a lot of space between the midfield and the defense, because there was no more. I mean, Paredes is not there anymore, so there wasn't anyone patrolling that space. Yeah, I think England did really well up until they scored the goal, and they didn't give in to Argentina's tactics. An issue that they had, like England have had throughout the tournament, is that they've not been able to look after the ball very well. But in my opinion, as I'm sure you would agree, they don't really have the players to,
Well.
the personnel.
he,
Yeah.
he's not playing the
Oh
players
no!
that
What I mean,
yeah.
is the players on the pitch are not
Yeah,
the guys that you
exactly.
would expect to
Yeah.
have that
Hmm.
technical advantage. They don't give you that technical advantage.
Yeah.
Declan Rice, in my opinion, is a centre back. I don't know why he's playing in the midfield. I don't know who's giving him the confidence.
Yeah.
Elliot Anderson's a good player, but then Jude Bellingham's a good player, but you need a guy in between them to keep holding position, and
Ideally,
Mainu.
you'd want two, but like,
Yeah, of
like
course.
Mainu's one of the best players in the world at that task, where you're, holding on to the ball under pressure, changing
Yeah,
direction,
yeah, going past
changing the
this guy.
tempo. Exactly.
Yeah,
He
but we
not a
didn't have
minute.
that, and again, another one of the comments that Tuchel made, that he kept making, is that he didn't like the technical mistakes that the players were making.
Yes.
When, if you look at the lineup, it's not really a technical lineup. But anyway,
that's the only thing you can expect when you pick a lineup like that. That's the thing. It's like you can't pick that lineup and then start saying that afterwards. You just can't. You know, with the whole thing with Jude in the interview afterwards, saying whatever about look, I'm sure they decided to like blow over all of that, stick together as a team afterwards. But I don't think listening back to that Tuchel interview would have made him feel any better, because people were like, "Oh, the guy interviewing twisted his words," and no, he didn't twist his words. He said they played bad. He blamed their technical mistakes. He blamed that on the players. So that's the key, right? And then he said, "Oh, they had a good mentality, blah 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 blah." But the technical mistakes were not down to the players. That's how if you understand Declan Rice as a player, you understand Anderson and Bellingham. You put them together. Then in defense, it's not like everyone in your defense is like in that game against Norway anyway, is like brilliant on the ball. Like some of them are decent, some of them are good. Like, and there's a lot of chopping and how many times did he change the system as well? So these types of things, for him to not take that in himself, for him to not even be self-aware enough to think about it and think, okay, that might have been something to do with me, shows he's not going to learn from his lessons. That's what that shows. So you already know this. So sack him right now. It's easy. It's an easy decision. Get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be said about that. I think he needs to go. It's interesting because I think it was Troy Deeney. He was talking about Eddie Howe coming in. And for me, that's another manager that has not really done as well. I mean,
Yeah,
people look at him as, oh, he's the next best young English manager.
yeah,
He first of all, he hasn't really won anything. He won the FA Cup with Newcastle, I
yeah.
think. But
With him,
the
his best
yeah.
achievement is getting Bournemouth up from League Two up until
Yeah,
yeah,
and he did well with that, but I don't think he's been exceptional in the Premier League. I don't think he's been like. I think the style of play that he likes and the style of play that he's been using at Newcastle, I think we're gonna have the same lineup that we have, the same midfield that we have, probably a similar defense that we have. I don't think he's going to be that different to Thomas Tuchel, in
I
my opinion.
agree. I
I don't
agree.
think he's going to utilize England's weapons the way they need to be utilized, and I think England it's going to be the same outcome if we go for someone like Eddie Howe. But anyway, yeah, that's just something that
Yeah,
I saw earlier.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, you go for Pep. You meet him somewhere, fancy hotel. You offer him blank checkbook and see what he says, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then after that it'll be Lee Carsley to me.
Yeah.
He showed the
The
signs
only.
already. He had the vision for how this team could play.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was he heard that they were giving the job to Tuchel, and then I don't know if it was his version of like acting out or just like trying whatever. He did that random team, remember, where they lost, like they got outplayed by someone. He was playing like one midfielder and then like Palmer.
Oh
Do you remember? I don't. Yeah,
yeah,
I think they're
yeah.
facing Greece or something. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah. In any case, he knows what he's doing. He's proven it with the last two under-21 campaigns for the under-21, winning both tournaments. A tournament that England never won before.
Yeah.
They do have quality players now, but the way they played is exactly how Spain, Argentina
Yeah.
think to play on the ball.
I think that's an important aspect that we're kind of missing. Like the FA have spent a lot of money and time with Dan Ashworth and who's the other guy?
Yeah, it was Dan Ashworth's project,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So Dan Ashworth had the project to kind of change the way that these English teams, that the England team operates and the English team plays, and work on different things to change the style of football. And it's been a long task. And like you say, with Lee Carsley's success, they've been able to. You can see they've been able to change the way that they play. We're able to hold on to the ball. We're able to dominate games and dominate possession, but it's not being translated in the senior team because we don't have coaches that have that vision of football. And yeah, there's no reason why Lee Carsley wouldn't be able to do that job if he did it with the younger players. And those younger players, many of them are now in the England squad. There's no reason why he wouldn't be able to, he shouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, it's like this whole generation has been built in that the framework they built back then and how they play football, how you want to dominate the game on the ball. All the coaches right now are trained in that mentality. And
Yeah.
then the England manager is doing 1980s backs to the wall, Dan Burn up front when you need a goal in the World Cup semi-final. It doesn't connect. The two like identities don't connect. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I mean, but yeah, on Argentina,
Yeah.
Messi, you know, he's 39 years old. I think we should like really take in what we're watching right now because
Mm-hmm.
we might never see anything like it again. To
Yeah.
play at the level he is at 39 years old, as you said in the first half, he was playing off scraps really because he would only have the ball for a couple of seconds at most, and sometimes he would still get a dribble off, get it through to one of his teammates, and it's like. I was watching some of the passes, some of the like touches around the corner he was doing. I'm like, man, they're not.
Yeah.
You guys are not taking in what this guy is doing. Even now,
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to do it himself. He's trying his best, but the way England how England were doing in terms of the physicality, in terms of I think they were set up. They weren't too deep at any point in the first 55 minutes.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
had that threat, the pace, and on the counter attack, the work rate. It was stop it. It was plugging the holes. It was making things so difficult. And because Argentina didn't have the width, as you said, it meant they didn't really have a way of getting up the pitch,
Yeah.
like into really dangerous areas. So Yeah, he was, he might have produced something. I'm not gonna say he wasn't gonna figure something out anyway
Yeah, of
at the
course.
end of the game, but the changes meant that he started picking up the ball more and more. He had more time to think. He had more people around him,
Yeah.
like actually close to the box. Uh, it was a great strike for for the equalizer for Enzo's goal, right? He got the assist there, but then the cross for the winner, right foot. It's like it's just a piece of quality that you give him any time.
But even
He's
even the first goal,
Hmm.
he created the environment
Yes,
for like he dragged the players away from the center of the pitch, and then he saw okay, there's a chance, and then we give the ball to Enzo. Enzo set it up because he had a lot of time. He set it up nicely, hit it into the. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, like you say, he had. I think he had a. We allowed him back into the game. We gave him
hmm,
the space that he wants, and we paid the price for it.
yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we haven't seen anything like him, as I said, and he's. But what's remarkable about Messi is these last two tournaments, especially now, I would say every single game he's done something. Like
Yeah,
he's contributed something important to Argentina in every single game he's played for two tournaments now at age 35 and then 39.
yeah.
It's something special.
I
Yeah.
think it's interesting as well because earlier on in his career, Argentina didn't really play. I think they didn't really set up for Messi. I remember when was Maradona the manager at the World Cup
Man,
where he
that
was.
guy didn't know what he was doing. Man.
Yeah,
That guy,
I mean,
they
that
played
was purely
they played
vibes.
one DM.
Yeah,
Then they had like two wingers and then Messi behind two strikers.
yeah,
Yeah, come on, man.
it was purely vibes.
Yeah.
But Scaloni has actually come in and said, okay, do you know what? We've mismanaged this guy for so many years. Let's come up with a system where we keep it. We enable him to get the ball in dangerous areas, and then from there we can play. And ever since he's come in, this Argentina haven't seen this kind of success for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have to give props to Lionel Scaloni.
Yeah. He's a
I saw
fantastic manager.
I saw a comment when he said, because he was at West Ham, and he said when he came to West Ham, his aim was to he came to West Ham so that he could get into the World Cup squad. I think it was what that was 2002. Was it 2002, 2006?
206, I think it would have been.
Okay, 2000. Yeah, he wanted to get into the World Cup squad, but he said and he said the season went well up until the last game where he made a mistake, and he believes that game cost him. I think I don't think he got called up for that squad, but he
Damn.
said but I think he said that mistake cost him his call up for or in his opinion, it cost him the call up for the tournament. But yeah, man, he's shown himself to be a very competent manager. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows, yeah, he's done really well. I think he's managed to get into the players' heads as well. Listen, we're not going to see a talent like this. You guys are not going to be able to play with a talent like this. The likelihood is you're not going to play with anybody like Messi in your career ever again. So let's just make sure that we get this over the line. Let's make sure whatever happens, you defend him. If you need to rough somebody up, you do it. If you need to, whatever you need to do, just get it done. And let's get Messi the ball in dangerous areas and let's win these games. And
Yeah.
it's worked very well.
Yeah, exactly. We should just touch on the other semi-final, right? The Spain-France
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
Because that's another one where I think, I don't think there was anything so clear as that decision Thomas Tuchel made, but Deschamps should also be disappointed in himself, I think, because watching that game, okay, Spain did play really well. They did, right? I thought Barsi and Laporta were exceptional at the back.
yeah,
Rodri had a good game. Fabian Ruiz, especially that base there. Porro played well as well. That base there. It gives them a lot in terms of control and just like they're all really good on the ball, really smart players.
yeah,
But it clearly wasn't working from minute one for France, right?
yeah.
They couldn't really get any control in the game. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. The structure was clearly flimsy from the start, and I think once you see that, you have to recognize that and make the changes.
Yeah,
I think he was just hoping that the quality would get him out of the situation.
yeah,
Like you could argue, it maybe has in a couple other games You know, it was just the attacking quality was so much that they were able to overpower teams. But this is Spain. This isn't, you know, Sweden and Iraq and whoever else they face.
Yeah.
This is a serious team, European champions
This
with
is the team
multiple
that
world
beat.
class players.
Didn't they beat France in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Euros?
This is it. This
Yeah.
is it. And you know, because maybe you can say some of this is only with hindsight, right? I think in our preview, I was saying with Charlie that I would have played Due over Barcola just because you
Yeah.
needed to at least think about getting more control, right, in this game.
Yeah.
But now with hindsight, I would have taken that even further. You know, that it was a mistake playing that very attacking front four.
Yeah.
But look at the midfielders you have on the bench if you want some solidity, and maybe you make this sub at half time. But Zaire Kante, maybe Kante's finished. I don't know. You know, I won't even say it
Yeah.
because he is 35. You know, so
Mhm.
you know, I haven't watched him recently enough to know. But Zaire Koenig on the bench. You have Tchouaméni. You could play that, put those guys on those Spain midfielders, sorry, and it's a much more difficult game for them to
Yeah.
hold on to control. And then you still have that threat on the counter attack of
Yeah.
Mbappe, Elise, Dembele. Maybe
Yeah.
4-3-3 with Dembele up front in this game was the move, you know.
Yeah.
And you look at it now, and it's like that in-game, the in-game tactical variation, the ability to make changes on the fly has cost France, and I think that's the difference at this level, right? The
Yeah.
managers, the Spain manager, the Argentina manager, both of them very good, very measured people that I feel like they both just move with common sense. You
Yeah.
know, like something's a little off, they'll make a change. You got
Yeah.
5 subs nowadays as well. Like these
Yeah.
managers, be brave and make the logical changes. It's like
Mhm.
you don't have to wait and see for so long. So those guys will feel like that's a big opportunity missed. I think
Yeah. Of
France, because
course. Yeah.
it's a golden generation.
Mhm.
It's a special team, and Spain. This I don't. That's not Spain at their very very best ever because Nico Williams.
Yeah.
You know, he's still not fit. I think Fermin Lopez would have been a starter in this tournament. They have some more quality to bring in to this squad. So yeah, big opportunity missed, and Deschamps is gone. That's one thing different from England. We know that Deschamps is gone, right?
Yeah.
Do you think Zidane will be able to change things?
I think. I mean, I know. I do think so. I do think Zidane's gonna have a different impact on the players. I think Zidane. I don't want to say he has a better understanding, but I think as I, d- I guess I would like to say that I want him to have an improved a better impact on the French squad. I can't say for sure because although he won all those Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, over the series of the in the league campaign, I don't think he was as successful. I think he won the league once or twice, once maybe I think maybe once during that period. Yeah, I mean, look, it's something good for the players because you know Zidane is an idol for a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys have the utmost respect for Zidane, and they will play for Zidane. But you know, in this scenario, can I say with confidence that Zidane would have played with the formation? You know, maybe with an extra midfielder. I can't really say that with absolute confidence. You know, so you know we'll see. We're gonna see the kind of difference that Zidane will make on the squad. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Like to me, he's not a tactical mastermind. He's just very much somebody that the players look up to, and when he talks, he's very well respected by the players. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm quite sure he's going to be the next manager, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed already.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's gonna
Okay.
about to sign the contract like next week. I think I saw. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there were times at Madrid where I remember him, you know, switching things up when it didn't work and bringing in Isco to make a diamond, and I feel like
Okay.
he would make those subtle changes that made a big
Yeah.
difference, and you know, he won 3 Champions League, so you know,
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's true.
yeah, you got to respect him for that. But you're right, we just don't know. We don't know what he's gonna
Mm,
do. He's also been out of football for a while.
it's true.
Yeah, but yeah, let's see. But he's got a big opportunity himself now, and I think you know we have like it's been 8 years since they won tournament, France, and France probably should have won at least something in this last few tournaments, a
Yeah.
Euros or a World Cup, you
Yep.
know, with the quality they've had. So
Yep.
he's got an opportunity now to stamp his own name in France. Obviously, already a legend as a player, but yeah.
Absolutely.